Hello again, everybody. Just another short update. I did finish the other side tubing tonight, and last night I made this part, put the bend on it, and then I just fabricated the upper part tonight. So I'll be ready to silver solder hopefully this weekend. And I marked this one, as you can see, just like I did the other, to help me align it. And there's plenty of room around the with the petticoat outside of the tubes. So I wanted to point out one thing that, just as a technique thing, I don't know if I can explain this adequately, but you know, several things you always do. You put your nut on before you make your flare. So with these bends, as shallow as they are, it's not very long, and using the bender that I showed in a previous video, the first couple times I tried to make it, I cut the tubing to size first, tried to make the bend. Well, a full length, even these are short cones here, the flare cones, a full length one wouldn't go around the bend. So you couldn't put it on before you made the flare, or because it would get caught up. So what I ended up doing was cutting the flare cones shorter so there's less of a tail on them, so to speak. Hopefully that won't affect anything. Fred, let me know if you think that's a problem. But I cut them so that I could bend the metal, slip the cone on, and it would go down far enough so that I could fit the tubing inside my flaring tool. And making the bend first while the tubing was long turned out to be the key. So I made the bend, and with a long piece of tubing, I knew I was going to cut it down. Made the bend, put the short flare cone on, made the flare, and then I set the piece in place and held the elbow up where it needed to be, and then I marked things and cut the first piece off last night. That's what I did last night. And I just cut these cones off with a bandsaw, and then I put the elbow on, and then tonight I aligned things and cut and just put a very gentle bend in the upper piece. So I hope that all makes sense, but just a little technique thing that I didn't realize I would have to do. I had to go through several examples of trial and error, and as you can see, I have a nice handy little scrap bin full of pieces that I made. While I'm talking about scraps, let me show you. Here's the bottom parts of the cones that I cut off. I just cut them off in the bandsaw, and then I disc sanded the cones and made them smooth. And I found this little countersink tool to be very handy for opening up, cleaning the insides of the tubes before flaring, and for cleaning up the nuts when I cut them down. So here is I'll show you this again and put it in place. And let's see, let me do this without, there we go. So you can see there's plenty of room. I'll put the flashlight on, you'll be able to see there's actually even more clearance, there we go, on the right side than there is on the left, but there's adequate clearance on both sides. So I'm pretty happy with the way those tubes are routed, and we'll do the silver soldering, and then I can get on to the other items, jobs that need to be done, making a gap filler to close off the space on the bottom, and then making the blower line. So those will be the next items. So thanks for watching, and I'll keep you posted.